Minnesota week is always a little bit different around here, a little bit more amped up. Is that
Sure, I
still
think
the
that's
same?
accurate. Yeah, I mean, as a player, as a fan, when Minnesota plays Wisconsin in any sport, there's always excitement and anticipation from the history of everything, from the border battle, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot to it, and the students that are here that have never been part of it, they've heard about it. Obviously we got lots of players from Minnesota, lots of players that have played with other players that are on Minnesota. So yeah, it's a special one, and no matter who's where and what standings, these games mean a lot from a pride standpoint. Just from, when you look back when you're done playing, you're always going to look back to the series against Minnesota as ones that you remember for lots of reasons, and it's important. Again, we're heading into playoffs. Minnesota happens to be the last weekend before playoffs. No matter who we were playing, this has to be a weekend where we set ourselves up for a run in the playoffs from a confidence standpoint, from just doing things right. We're close. I really think we are. Last couple of weeks of playing against Ohio State and Notre Dame, there's been some things there that should give us some hope and some feelings that when playoffs start, we have a chance. And we just want to do what we can to be ready for that, and that means playing well at Minnesota.
And you're about as healthy as you've been in a while, too.
We'll see when the game starts on Friday who we're allowed to put out there. We're still a little banged up. We've had quite a few guys on the ice for practice. Some guys have been in and out of practice in the last 2 weeks. So we'll have to make some decisions, when we get up there on who will be available. I think Eno is the one guy that is solid that will be in. The other guys are still, I don't think Danny Latch is going to play this weekend. Bakes, we're still undecided.
So the bye week came at a relatively good time for you?
Came at a great time for us. It did. We haven't had a lot of practices, and you go back to the week before Notre Dame, the week before our Ohio State series back here. We didn't practice because of the COVID thing, so we needed a couple good weeks of practice. We feel we got them. The energy's been good in practice. Like Brian said, we're getting a few guys back out there. Practicing with the full team's important. We haven't really done that a lot lately, so it came at a really good time.
When you get into late February and March, you've talked about you need your goaltending to be good. You need those guys to be some of your best players. How can you get them back? How do you maybe work with them to make sure they're confident enough to be where you need them to be?
A couple things for me. I think when teams play solid defensively, the forwards help the defensemen become real good, and that makes the goalie become real good. So if you take a bunch of penalties and you get caught on, with turning the puck over a lot, and you give teams outnumbered attacks, and you play in D zone a lot, it's going to be hard for your goalie to be the best player on the ice. But if you do things right, and you give him chances to see pucks, and you don't have him have to turn away a bunch of outnumbered attacks, our goalies are great. And same for our defense. Our defense is great if our forwards make the right decisions with the puck, positionally come back the right way into our end. So it's a combination of all those things. But Jared, let's not kid ourselves. He stole us a game against Notre Dame. So from a confidence standpoint for him, he's got to feel pretty good about where his game is at. When that was a game where we didn't practice all week, we needed a goalie to give us something till we got going, and we did and won. So it'll be the same as we go down the stretch. We're going to need him to be really solid, and that's why we got him. I mean, and this weekend too. Let's just talk about Jared. When he came here, he just one thing he said, "Hey, can I make sure I play against Minnesota?" I said, "Yeah, I could make sure you play against Minnesota." And it's not to show them something. It's just because that's where he was, and And I remember what it was like when you get traded from a team and you go back to that city, how special it is, and this is a big weekend for him as well. Just from, that's where he started, and he wants to go back there and have a big weekend.
I'm sure you've heard some creative student section volleys over the years. I can imagine there's going to be maybe another level of that Jared's. He knows that it's coming. I mean,
that's what makes college, athletics so special. Is the participation of the students and their atmosphere that they create is really unique in college athletics. And so our student creatures have done a great job for us, and I'm sure Minnesota student section will be fired up this weekend. And it's always, I think it's so much fun because, you go to different, colleges and you see the different rituals that some of the student sections and their creativity. And I laugh. After the games, we'll go in and coach, did you see what that fan did out? And there's some pretty good stuff that they, the one that was funny a couple weeks ago in Ohio State, we got to walk down the ice, and I got to go really slow with the dress shoes on, and I'm walking, like you would say an old man would, and this kid's walking alongside me, imitating me as I go to the bench, and I'm laughing, and I'm going to Oz and Strobe. I said, "Look at this guy," and it was perfect. So that's the one I remember. The fan in Ohio State was really good. Yeah.
I know this is a big weekend momentum-wise going into the postseason. Are there any specifics of what you want to see from your team this weekend?
Just want us to play hard, give ourselves a chance to win by playing smart. So I don't want it to become an emotional weekend where we're running all over the place, out of control. It's a good test before playoffs to see if we are ready. We think we're ready. That takes extreme discipline. It takes, so the competitiveness is going to rise to another level. The little individual battles, the physicality of it, cranks up another level. So we're looking, to see those things in our game. And like I said, Jared's been really solid. If we give him a chance to play well, I think it's going to be a really nice weekend for us. But we also know Minnesota needs these wins to try to win a Big Ten title. So for us, it's exciting because we know the other team not only is a great team, but they need these wins bad. And it's a good challenge for us.
Do you have to say anything to
No.
Jared to channel that emotion, you think?
No, I'll talk to him tomorrow, when we skate tomorrow night in Mini. But I'm not going to give him any advice. I just say, have fun with this. This is the weekend you've been looking forward to. We'll do the best we can to make sure we play well in front of you. Give him a little confidence from that side of things. But no, I won't say anything out of the ordinary.